Welcome to Boat's Memory Method, and today we're talking about what you need to know about Alzheimer's dementia and the differences. When we say Alzheimer's dementia, we mean the blanket term, the umbrella term that incorporates all kinds of dementias. There's more than 64 kinds, and we are discovering more, including into this blanket term is Alzheimer's. Today, I'm going to explain to you exactly what Alzheimer's is. That's an individual diagnosis, stands alone, and it refers to the beta amyloid proteins and the tau plaques and tangles, another kind of protein. And these abnormal proteins accumulate in the brain, in the neural cells, and causes a global degeneration. And I like to say the brain goes from a plum to a prune. So what happens is that we're going to see immediate changes in memory, which is within the hypothalamus, and we are going to see changes in motor responses and sensory responses. So changes, decline in the way I move or plan my movements, decline in how I respond to my environment, and the decline in how I receive sensory input from my environment. So a decline in how I visually interpret my environment, that's in the occipital lobe, a decline in how I understand what is needed from me, rules, that's in my frontal lobe, a decline in how I understand, so that's my temporal lobes. And then when we talk about a decline in sensory, that is my parietal lobe. So it's a global decline of the function of the whole brain. There is a hope here because our amygdala, which is the small P sign right in the middle of the brain, that's our superpower. Our amygdala stays fired up. Even in our Alzheimer's patient, towards the end of life, we can still respond to smells, aromas, touch, music, people reading to us, and to color. This is our emotional brain. And this, I call it a superpower because if we structure the environment correctly, if we speak to our person correctly, if we deliver TLC and compassion, and if we bring an environment that's positive and upbuilding, then our person will respond to that. How to diagnose Alzheimer's? That can be done through imagery, PET scans, CT scans, MRIs, as well as spinal taps, where we take fluid out of the spinal cord to look at the presence of those abnormal proteins. There's also now blood work that can look at the abnormal APOE gene in the blood, which is a marker for Alzheimer's. The good news are, even if you have those abnormal genes in your blood, that does not mean that you will develop Alzheimer's. Once Alzheimer's is diagnosed, that is a predicted lifespan of about 8 to 10 years. The hope that I want to give here is that, number one, even if you're genetically predisposed, if you change your lifestyle, you exercise, you look at your sleep patterns, you look at your diet, there's 40 variables that we can impact so that our brain health will stay optimal for longer. I also want to encourage you, if somebody is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, make sure that the correct diagnostic studies were done to rule out other health challenges that could mimic memory loss, could mimic sensory and motor control problems. And I would also, once someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, get your dementia community in order. Make sure you have support system in place. Start to look for resources. One big thing is keep a structured routine. Get your person used to a routine and a repetition and reminders that will allow them control over what they do on a daily basis for as long as possible. One last thing. Remember that their emotional center of their brain, their amygdala, still responds. Dementia or Alzheimer's may steal your mind, but it's not going to steal your heart. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, go to our YouTube channel, drop us those questions, It's Boat's memory method, or go to our website and reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. boatsmemorymethod.com. That is BOTES. You can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you for joining us.